Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever this finds you. I set the intention that you well, you healthy, happy, you hydrated, know what I'm saying? You playful, all that stuff, man. Just left the skate park, did a little morning ritual. I hope you enjoy the skate park footage. Just some little fuck around shit, man. I done sprained my ankle trying to line on that ledge. I wish I had some more clips for y'all, but that's the morning ritual that gets the day right and the mind right, man. I love that shit. Um, I'll get right into it, man. I'm here to talk about the spiritual awakening. I guess more personally mine, you know. Um, I think a lot of people, it's like a trope when they hear that word. I feel like we're all spiritual beings, like we're all spirits having a human experience. But I mean, it's clear to see maybe not everyone's aware of that, or maybe their spiritual experiences through the lens of religion, and others have this kind of, it's a different thing. We know what we're talking about. We know what we're talking about. But yeah, I'm just gonna share my story. This will probably be a quicker video. I'd say my shit really started in 2018. 2018 is when things really kinda kicked off. I had a good year all 2018, and at the end of 2018, it was like two. All right. Let me not get off track, but the New Year's of 2018 going into 2019 and New Year's of 2019 going into 2020, there was two very pivotal, very important moments that happened in my life that just kind of shifted my perspective on things and helped me see the world in a different way and be more open to life. And that's really what it is to me, is just like an openness, not being not viewing life as outside of yourself. That's what a spiritual awakening is to me, is fully letting this experience of life flow through you and come inside of you, not putting it outside of yourself in a book or something like that. So we'll start with 2018. 2018, I was in a relationship with someone who had been my friend all throughout middle school, high school. In 2018, like, we had like what was my first little romantic relationship, and it was a good year for real. It wasn't perfect, but it was a good year. And at the end of that, after Christmas, we exchanged gifts, and like I could tell something was changing. Like I could kind of feel it coming, but she knew what she needed to do. Like, we were just growing apart, and that's what it was, man. And I wasn't ready for that. I was ready for that, but my ego wasn't ready for that. So it hit. And when we split up, like, when she let me know she couldn't be with me anymore, it definitely cut deep. Like, it was all these stories I was telling myself about not being worthy, not being good enough. It was all these stories I was telling myself, kind of putting the blame on her parents, this whole situation that really ain't important. But the key to it was I was putting it outside of myself. You know what I'm saying? I was putting it, and I was making it either a part of my ego that was wrong and attaching to that, or her ego, her family ego. Like, I was attaching things to the exterior, and I wasn't really seeing it as, like, how could this be a part of my path? You know what I'm saying? What can I learn from this about myself, like, to make myself better? And it took me a little while to get there, but by the summer of 2018, I started to flip the lens back onto myself, and I started asking myself, what could I have done better? You know, I could have been more present. You know, I could have been more empathetic. You know, I could have just shown up in a better way for that person, and realizing that helped me show up better for other people and for myself, most importantly. It was a good takeaway from it. Like, I definitely could have stopped at the ego, saw myself as a shitty person, or saw someone else as a shitty person, and just stopped there, you know, and kept repeating that cycle. But for some reason, I chose to just look within. For whatever reason, I chose to ask myself, you know, what could I have done better, you know? And then I started doing better for myself. I started eating better. I started just being more present with myself. I started, you know, focusing on things that I like to do. I started skateboarding more. I started, you know, just becoming my own friend. And I saw that as a gain. It didn't have to be a loss anymore, you know. Like, I lost this person that I was confiding in, but once I lost her, I was able to gain myself as my own best friend, you know. And that's invaluable. Like, enjoying your own company, sitting with yourself. It forced me to sit with myself and realize if I liked myself, you know. It was my own COVID little situation before COVID, because I really felt alone. And if you feel lonely with yourself, it's almost like a form of self-hate, because you're always going to be with yourself, your experience, you know. So that was 2018. The relationship was 2018. The breakup happened 5 days before New Year's. Kind of fast forward through 2019, I was just kind of growing through this shit, trying to take care of myself, you know, seeing myself in different relationships and friendships that weren't quite working out. It was a little bit friction, but we were growing. I was growing through things. Like, I knew that I was going through things, but I was growing through the things, you know. I was being patient with myself. As hard as it really got sometimes, I was able to fall back and, like, accept where I was and know that I can always find something to be thankful for, and I can always learn how to love myself better, you know. Even if I didn't at the moment, I held the space for it. I just accepted where I was and was like, hey, this is just an opportunity for you to learn how to love yourself better. Every time I got down in 2019, because it was never just straight up from there. It was always ups and downs, you know. But always holding, when you're in those low points, just accepting where you are and holding the space for, you know, this is just an opportunity to get to know myself better. These triggers are really just information. And I hope y'all don't mind the nature, man. This is the best place to film for me right now. I might find some new spots to film, so y'all don't have to hear me talking over the bugs. But man, it was 2018, end of 2018, off through 2019. It was a self-love lesson. It was a big self-love lesson. And then I mentioned New Year's 2019. This will actually get a little bit personal. New Year's of 2019, whatever. I was doing some business with a girl that I had done some business with for years. You know, I trusted her, whatever. If I would have looked back, I probably would have seen shit differently, but this is part of the lesson, you know, reading people and shit. But long story short, she had 2 people hold me up at gunpoint. I never been drawn down on before. I ain't never been held up at gunpoint before. So it's just it was the closest I've been to almost dying. I don't look at it as like, obviously I knew I wasn't gonna die. Like I had a feeling that I wasn't gonna die, but it was like the realest situation I've been in, being close to death. And that changed my perspective to it. I felt like I was really inside of life, man. I felt like my eyes were wide the fuck open. Like, I can't even I don't know, because the initial fear, it wasn't even fear, it was just alertness. Like for some reason, I didn't just hold on to the fear. It just brought me to the fully present moment. Like, oh, you can die, but you're still here. You know what I'm saying? And that feeling stuck with me. That feeling definitely stuck with me. And a lot of people now, I never knew this, but I've seen like a lot of people who have these near-death experiences, way realer than the ones I had, but a lot of people who have near-death experiences experience this same kind of spiritual thing where they start seeing life, butterfly, where they start seeing life just in a whole different way. They just can't live the way they was living anymore because they knew they weren't fully in the experience. It helps you accept death as a part of life, so you stop shielding yourself from these fears that are given to you around mortality. And that was a big thing for me. For real. That was huge for me to shift my perspective and just move differently and really value the little things in life. Like, it made me start to value the little things, bro. Like just being in the sun, being well, bro, having good food to eat, water, all of those things became what's important to me. And none of the ego shit was really that important anymore. It really became all the little things in life that I was just allowed to experience. That's what became important, and that's what filled me up. The little things were able to fill me up way more than the big shit I would attach to money and like status that other people give you. That shit really didn't mean nothing for me anymore. As long as I could like go play and have fun and be in nature, bro, like that's what it was for me all through 2020. And I really didn't need anyone but myself to experience that. So no matter who, I didn't need no validation from anyone else to allow that to come in and to fill up my experience and my being. Yeah, man, that shifted shit in a big way for me. And just getting back to nature, that was a part of it, man. Like once I started letting the little things come in, shit just started flowing in that direction. Nature started coming in and loving on me more because I was aware of it. It was always there for me, but it just made me aware of these things that I thought I was living in real life, but looking back, and everything is real life. It's all an extension of nature. So, but it just felt like an old version of myself that I couldn't. It felt like I just shed that skin away, and I'm thankful that I did. For real. Oh, that was New Year's 2019. The last kind of big shift in my journey that kind of led me here to now was my response to COVID. I was able to accept that the little things was what was important, but I still needed a job to be able to eat. You know what I'm saying? I still had to work 40 hours a week. That is what it is. You can't really control where you're born, You can learn how to navigate through the matrix a little better here and there once you start to open yourself up. But I was still working 40 hours a week in a place that it did drain some of that energy from me. I was always able to go back into nature and fill my cup back up. But getting off those shifts, it can create kind of a negative cycle. You can feel drained, and when you feel drained, it's harder to go do the things that you really want to do. So COVID hit, and we got about 3-4 months off of work, and a lot of people that hit them the way the breakup hit me. They started blaming the virus because they couldn't really sit with themselves, and they were having that uncomfortability because they hadn't learned to love themselves yet. But for me, since I had already kind of been through some shit and I was able to really be with myself, it was able to help me go deeper into the self-love journey and learn just sun gazing, meditation. I just got more spiritual. I started learning more about esoteric symbolisms and how to communicate with my environment. And all these things really happened during quarantine when I was able to shut out distractions from everyday work life and really just be with my being. That was big. COVID was big for sure, man. I didn't mention it in the beginning, but COVID definitely helped along my spiritual journey. And it's an opportunity, I believe, for everyone to help. Who knows? They got this Delta shit going around. We might go back into quarantine. I would love it. A lot of people would hate it, but it's an opportunity. But that's really it, man. I ain't got too much else to say, but it is no spiritual beings. We're all spiritual beings. It's just some people shifted their awareness to their whole experience. Some people shifted their awareness inwards and saw that they were an extension of their environment. And not everyone runs into the shit I ran into, but you ran into this video, so it's all a matter of flow, man. You just gotta be open. That's really it. It starts with just openness and kind of letting go of the ego. And it can happen to us in infinite different ways, but we all are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. Came out by the water for this one. Little creek back here. Again, I hope it's not too loud with the cicadas this year. But I definitely like filming out here rather than in the apartment, man. I love this shit. And I love you. I love you. I hope you having a good day, man. I hope all is well with you guys. And, bless. Be well.